showing you how to color the skin tones with Prismacolor pencils on Craft. And let's just get started without any further ado. I use a lot of colors actually just to layer and to give more of a nuances to the skin. You do not have to use all the colors. If you don't have all the pencils, I do just use the ones which you do have, or you can substitute the colors. There's no firm rules in it. I am first starting by just applying a very, very light layer of cream. And that is not even for color purposes, it's to provide a little bit of a pigment to the craft paper, so it still would have tooth, but it also would have some pigment for the other pencils, other colors to blend with. And the pigment on Prismas is very, very soft and very opaque, so if you go over the lines here, you see it will cover the lines, but that is not a problem. We will go over the lines at the very end with a dark pencil. We need to do that anyway, so try to avoid totally covering them so you won't see them at all, but don't be worried if they become a bit covered and you can't see them very well and the image becomes all weird and washed out. Now I take sand, which is a bit darker, and I basically go over the whole area again. Now I am just building up layers. I'm building up the base for the coloring, and you don't have to press very hard, give it a light pressure. So the skin would look more natural. If you just go in with peach, which is one of the main colors for skin, it will look a bit flat, whereas the more colors you layer, the more interesting and more lifelike the skin will look. Now I'm done with sand. Now I'm going to go in with the peach beige. This is actually a pencil which is very, very close to actual color of Craft. If you just go in here and see, you almost can't see it on the Craft because it's so close. So sometimes it's very handy for actually blending other colors into the Craft. But what I'm using it now for is toning down the yellow of the cream and sand, because I don't want it that yellow. So I'm just dulling it a little bit with the peach beige. And if you don't have peach beige, no problem, just use regular beige, just to mute the yellowness a little bit. Then I'm finally getting to the main skin color, which is mostly used in coloring with Prismas. That's light peach. And now I'm putting on a layer of that, and that will be now the last color I am going to use, wholly covering the skin area. And now I move on to the peach, and with that one now I actually start a little bit of shading. Not a huge amount, but kind of start giving the image a shape a little bit. See, in front of the eye here, leaving the top of her cheek untouched. That area just here. So now I don't give the whole area coverage anymore. I start laying down the shadows, with the first hints of shadow. Actually, I've noticed here I've colored over the hair. I can fix that later. Just this is now going to give this lightness to the skin, that slight pink flush to the skin we all have. You can see there's not really harsh lines anywhere. That's why the layering is good as well, because the more layers you put down, the easier the blending is, the more natural it looks. The less of the lines you will get, which you will have to work very hard getting rid of later on. And as I said already, if you go over the lines and if they become a bit obscured, that is not a problem at all. Now, next I am going to take blush pink, and that is the color which, you know, you just had tiny bits of it. It's pink. But you know, if I want a bit more red and a bit more blush in her skin, and just give it to some areas, don't put it everywhere, just almost just little stripes of it. Oh, I keep doing that hair, which I shouldn't be doing. Next color, Goldenrod. That's very yellow, but I'm using that as a base for the next color. And if you look at your skin, it isn't actually pink or peachy. It is more so kind of a yellowish, orangey, beigey, browny, whatever. So that one now I am going to use for giving more shadows and starting to give some definition to the places, stronger shadow spots. Now face, here underneath the hair, in front of the eye, here on the neck and underneath the chin. Now I am actually putting down the shadows already in the first layer of a shadow. Under the dress. So don't take it too far. Now you really have to start being careful how strong you lay that down. A little bit of a hint of a knee here. Behind here is a shadow, definitely. And here as well, under the dress, behind the leg, and then the last bit here. Next color, absolutely essential. I really hope you have that color for skin. That's mineral orange, and that is the best shadow color for your skin. So that one now goes not too much of it, but you know, fair bit in front of the eye as well. I want a little bit of color, and maybe tiny bit here at the nose as well. The hand in the corner here. And now you start applying more pressure as well. The more layers you lay down, the more pressure you will have to start adding. Because you're basically now burnishing in the colors as opposed to... And now I blow a little because there's a little pigment dust that keeps coming out the pencils. And now I need to, as I said, always keep your sharpener ready, because you do need it all the time when you're coloring. And see, this is something now I would find very hard to do with Copics. There's tiny little areas which you just wouldn't get into with Copics, whereas with pencils it's quite easy to get in there. So that's one of the reasons I love pencils as well. You can just get more detail into your coloring sometimes. You can do very easy and straightforward coloring as well, and see how I'm building up the shadows here.